a little bit specifics on that. I completely agree with you, Senator, in the
Mm.
sense that hindi pwede yung hingi lang tayo ng hingi. It's a give and take
Yeah.
relationship.
Mm.
Having said that, maybe we have a slight divergence of opinion here. Ako naman, ang issue ko lang kasi dito is, I look at Jordan, Egypt, Pakistan, never mind Israel or Ukraine. All of these countries have received direct aid or significant amount of very advanced American weapon systems. No, I mean Egypt, for instance, or even Jordan. They all have F-16 fighters. Again, I don't know. I don't want to come out like mendicant or something like that. But ang thing ko is, what should Marcos push for here? Should he push for some? Kasi wala pa tayong mga multi-role vessels. Sorry, multi-role fighters. And the warships na we have, the modern one na napuntahan ko, yung BRP Rizal, mga ganun, purong Korean made yan, di ba? Some of the strategic weapon systems we're getting are Indian. The BrahMos, which has Russian derivative, Soviet derivative. Ang tanong ko dito is, should BBM aggressively push for Americans to give us much better terms for some of the things that we really need? Para hindi lang tayo hanggang nagbibigay lang ng basic access, hindi lang rentier relationship. We should be also a capable ally which can project power and help in international public goods provision, anti-piracy, etc. How much we should focus on also getting Japan and US to accelerate our AFP modernization, which we discussed in the last meeting, yung $36 billion 10-year program.
Well, I totally agree with you, Richard, on that one. Hindi naman pwedeng masyadong bargain, di ba? I agree na kailangan din natin yung tulong, mutual itong tulungan natin. Pero, di ba, kung gusto niyo mas makatulong kami ng mas maayos, edi iaano nyo, kumbaga i-upgrade nila yung ating weapon systems. Alam mo, ang problema lang kasi ito, no? One of the things raised nung when I was dealing with some US government officials in Washington is yung pagiging compromise nung panahon ni Duterte na if you are entrusted with military weapons, US military weapon
Baka
systems,
mapunta sa China.
yun, oo. Kaya yun yung issue sa atin. Medyo mabigat kasi yung the countries that you mentioned, may mga nagkaroon sila ng access sa mga US weapon systems because they have already demonstrated na meron silang safeguard mechanisms na hindi basta-basta ko-compromise yung mga military secrets sila. Pero sige, kahit ando doon na yun, pero tama kayong mga basic platforms, no? Para lang parang mahasa lang yung mga AFP personnel natin dun sa mga more modern weapon systems. Like sabi ko nga kahit sa Navy, yung mga dinicommission nila mga Oliver Hazard Perry class na frigates, ano yun, pwedeng lagyan ng platforms in the same way na binigay nila sa Taiwan, di ba?
Modernize
Taiwan,
na konti. Oh.
Taiwan yung missile system, so wala nako-compromise sa weapon systems nila, pero naano natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng platform para to train yung ating mga personnel. Yung mga ano rin, yung sinasabi mong mga multi-role fighters para mahasa yung mga piloto natin. Anyway, dito na tayo, yung mga Korean jet fighters. Maganda yan, pero parang entry level yan
Oh,
eh. Entry
transitional
level.
talaga eh. Tama
Oo,
ka.
lead-in
Every
level
level.
yan. Oh. Oo, pero 'di ba dito na tayo kung medyo maganda-gandang bakbakan kahit papaano hindi naman kawawa yung mga piloto natin. So, pwedeng i-demand 'yan ng Marcos administration. But I think pinipace naman nila. I think eventually they will get there. Ito lang kasi, remember, this situation that we're in was not planned from the start. No, o nung pag-upo ni President Marcos. Kung hindi, it was forced on him by the circumstances because ipinush away siya ng China basically. Kaya ito na ngayon, they're doing things on the fly but kahit papaano nakakahabol and eventually yun na nga yung parity naman. Wag naman yung tulungan nyo kami. Sabi nga doon sa 'di ba? Help help me, help you. Parang
Kay
ganon.
kay Tom Cruise at saka si ano, Cuba, di ba? Yun, help me, help you. Di ba? Yun yung dapat. That,
Oo.
I love that. That's one of my favorite expressions, right? Kaya nga, you want the
Ah,
Philippines not to be just tagabigay ng basing agreement, mga ganun. You know, you want us to be able to also project ourselves kasi we're increasingly getting there. Just last one on this foreign policy before we go to the meat of discussion, more Duterte and ICC and your favorite, our favorite topics. Ito, for me kasi strategic investments I think is also very important. So the other week nasa Germany kami, na-meet namin si Chancellor Scholz. You know, he gathered some of the thought leaders from Global South, Brazil, South Africa, etc. And one of the things I said is, naintindihan ko na meron kayong business interest. You know, when you go to a country, Benz, BMW, whatever, you're looking at investment environment. But at the end of the day, parang talent scouting yan, di ba? Pag magaling kang talent scout, hindi ka mag-invest lang dun sa mga players na mature na kagad. May mga players na medyo may mga kulang here and there, but you see a long-term vision, their long-term talent. So mag-invest ka doon. And I said Philippines is kind of like that in the sense that may mga kulang tayo in terms of investment, environment, and all. But you see, all the investments are going to Vietnam. You think Vietnam is going to side with the West against China? No, they have their own interest, right?
yeah.
They're putting a lot of investment in Malaysia, whose leader Anwar Ibrahim is like the new Duterte of ASEAN in terms of lawyering for ASEAN. He was here in Berkeley a few months ago and saying, hindi kami katulad ng Filipinas. We're friendly. China is a friend. Don't be China-phobic. Like, ito ang problema sa West. They talk about shared values, rules-based order, and then they put all the money in countries that are, frankly, a lot of them are opportunistic, if not pro-China. Even India. Aminin natin, India is, you know, one day they get arms from Russia, one day they're friendly with Biden. Those are not reliable partners, to be honest about it, if you want to talk about rules-based order. So, para sa akin, mahalaga din na magkaroon ng strategic investments in the Philippines. Kasi alam natin sa a lot of the propaganda of the Makapili Club, di ba, is pag China tayo, magkakaroon tayo ng high-speed railway investment. Obviously, hindi nangyari sa panahon ni Digong, but they'll blame BBM for that. So I think it's important na may bigay din ng mga Amerikano and mga Hapon. In fairness, mga Hapon naman, it's not like they haven't done much. They have done a lot also in the Philippines. But there has to be those kind of investments, semiconductors, things that make it easier for BBM to say, see, dito na tayo tataya, hindi nga tayo binubuli, tinutulungan pa tayo. Bakit tayo dun sa China? Hingi sila ng kapalit. Wala naman libre sa China. I mean, whoever thinks with China, you talk nice to them, will get everything. They don't know what they're talking about.
Well, ako naman just to be fair to this Marcos administration. Remember nung 6 years ni Duterte, he shooed away the investors from EU, US lahat because of the human rights violations. Talagang nag-shut off yung natin foreign direct investments. Now, under the new administration, inobserbahan nila ano ba to? Is this the continuation of the Duterte administration? Nung nakikita nilang, uy, medyo okay, medyo na. So, last year, they decided na tipong I think it's safe now. Kumbaga, it's a green light. Ngayon pa lang nila sinasabi yung pwede kayong pumasok. Yung mga nila, mga ambassadors nila dito, economic counselors, nakikita nila na medyo okay na yung Pilipinas. Last year lang, probably the second half of last year. Kaya doon pa lang nila hinihikayat, Doon pa lang sila nagsisend ng positive signals sa ating sa kanilang mga negosyante. But then ito nga inaantay pa rin nila. At tapos isa pang signal yung kay Senator Laila De Lima, 'di ba? Tapos itong potential itong ICC. This would be parang enticements for investors to come in. Pero mga yan, a few years down the road pa malalasap ng Pilipino yan.
Yeah, you have to really regain their trust and confidence. And I think this is very important. The Duterte legacy we keep on forgetting. I mean, I had a EU person coming to me saying he was very shocked na one day, kausap nila yung people in finance, hindi ko naman sabihin sino, pero medyo malalaking tao nung panahon ni Digong. And sabi nila, bahala kayo dyan. Andyan naman yung China eh. And they were like shocked, like how naive you are. Like, saan yung investment ng China? Purong pledge lang, di ba? Pledge trap. And anong klaseng matinong bansa mag-isip na doon lang tayo sa isang bansa? Di ba? You will have no leverage, right? So,
Yeah.
marami na shock, including Europeans, with the amount of naivety and aggressive I'll be honest, stupidity of some of the supposedly smart officials ng panahon hindi ko. And they come to me and say, Richard, sino itong mga to? Akala namin mga technocrats mga to. So, ewan ko dyan, in Department of Finance nga, binabash pa nga ako dati, may mga press release pa sila. Like, it was that bad during Digong na even some of the technocratic people were playing politics talaga and DDS propaganda nonsense. Now, Senator Diaz,
Hindi, ikaw ko lang,
go
Richard, I
ahead.
forgot to mention this. Ano?
It's,
Um, Early on do sa secret deal, bakit ganun lopsided? Di ba? Bakit bigay ng bigay si Duterte? Ang reason
I see what you're
is
saying.
compromised siya. Okay, nagbigay sa kanya during the campaign. Tapos ito ang daming mga big ticket projects na kumikita sila. That's why they have to yan yung pag-reciprocate nila. Kasi kumikita sila eh. Compromised masyado. Yan yung department officials na sinasabi mo na yan. I may have an idea who you are referring to. Pero kasama yan dun sa sindikato nila na nagpasok nung China Telco, no? Na talagang binigay nila. They twisted the arms of local businessmen just to provide what the China telco needed. So nakuha nila pati franchise, pati yung access sa mga bases, lahat-lahat. Yun ang reason kung bakit compromised yung kanilang foreign policy is because kumita sila ng malaki.
Very good point. I mean, I would say even to be nice, I think the whole shadow of Chinese investment structured, 'di ba? Yung tapang nila kasi hindi sayang baka may investment. But of course, you're implying maybe it's not just that. Maybe it's a bit
Yeah.
more than that. But to be fair to NEDA Secretary Pernia, no? I think one reason he resigned, no? Wala masyadong mga cabinet secretary resign. I think it's because hindi talaga siya natutuwa sa mga takbo ng mga bagay-bagay sa ilan ng Duterte administration. Quiet pa rin si Pernia. I think he has a story to tell. Hopefully one day, 'di ba, malaman natin kasi alam niya yung mga kalokohan ng China eh. Yung mga
Mhm.
investments. Kasi from what I understand, ang dami mga pledges and then papunta yung NEDA natin sa Beijing, wala pala eh, hanggang ano lang, boka-boka lang. So you wonder, ano ba yung enticement talaga ng China? Is it really big ticket investments or well, something else? But before going there, I want to talk about Sara Duterte because no comment. Why would the Vice President of the Republic, who has everything to say about Afghan refugees coming in, about conflict in Gaza and Israel,